this video lesson, we want to talk about synthetic division. People like synthetic division because it is quick and easy, but it's also a lot harder to notice when you're making a mistake. And it can only be used when you're dividing by a binomial of degree 1. So think about that. Our divisor can only be a binomial. It can't be higher than degree 1. So that really limits when you're able to use synthetic division. So it is important that you know how to use long division, and that if we ask for polynomial long division on your test or your final exam, that's the process we want you to show. If we ask for synthetic division, that's the process we want you to show. Actually, I want to take a minute here and talk about these notes that I hope you've printed and are filling out. I often have students come to me for help, and I will say, show me your notes on this. And they have nothing. I don't know how you learn any subject, let alone math, when you don't have notes written down that you can refer to when you're having problems. So if you don't want to print these notes out, then you need to write down everything I'm saying, especially the steps I've given you to follow for each of these processes. So make sure you've got the notes either printed or you're writing everything down. All right, let's continue with these steps for synthetic division. Again, just like in polynomial division, all descending powers of x are required. That means we're starting with your highest power of x and going down to 0. Again, we're going to use 0 as our placeholder. So if we look at our question here, the same question we did using polynomial long division, we see that we're missing x squared. So we're going to say there are 0x squareds. And now we're going to write only the coefficients inside the division box. Remember that the coefficients of the dividend, the coefficients are those numbers in front, 2, 0, -10, and 15. So we have all of our powers of x. We have our coefficients. Oops, the second one is 0. For synthetic division, I like to use an upside down division box. In step 3, we're going to let the divisor equal 0 and then solve for x. So here our divisor is x minus 2. We see that x equals +2. We're going to write that outside the division box. In step 4, we bring down the first term. And now we multiply. We're always going to multiply that number on the side by whatever number we just moved to the bottom. So we're multiplying 2 times 2, and we're going to put our product in the next column. We're going to add the columns. 0 plus 4 is 4. As long as you have something to add, if there's another column, we need to go back and multiply. So we're multiplying 2 times 4 and writing our product in the next column. 2 times 4 is 8, and now we need to add -10 and 8, -2. We have another column, so now we're going to multiply. 2 times -2, the product goes in the next column. And now we add 15 and -4 is 11. If you think back to this question that we did 2 video lessons ago, you'll remember that we had a remainder of 11. There are no other columns, so we know we're finished. This is our remainder. The last sum is always the remainder. Now we need to replace our powers of x, and we always replace them going from right to left, starting with x to the power of 0, x to the power of 1, x to the power of 2. So we see our answer for this question then is 2x squared plus 4x minus 2, remember that x to the power of 0 equals 1, plus the remainder over the divisor. Let's try one for practice. Why don't you pause your video and write down the coefficients in the division box. The coefficients here were 3, 0, -2, 0, and 1. Now we let the divisor equal 0 and solve for x. This number goes outside the division box, and we bring down the first term. Remember that now we're going to multiply and add. Why don't you do the next two multiplying and addition steps? So first of all, you multiplied 3 times 3, put your product under the next column, and added. Then you did 3 times 9, put your product in the next column, and added. Finish this question and find the remainder. You might recognize that this was our practice question using polynomial long division. Write the quotient with the remainder. Remember that powers of x are added starting at the right. We start with x to the power of 0 and then go up. So we have our quotient plus the remainder over the divisor. Both synthetic division and polynomial long division are, I've forgotten the word, are topics I hope you're familiar with. I hope you've seen them before, and I hope that you don't find them too difficult. If you do, please consider that Math 99 might be a better place for you to be so that you have a bit more time to learn and practice these before you continue with your math classes.